How can we love as we are called to love? It's so easy when you think about how God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever would believe in him would not perish but have everlasting life. So God had this creation, and he saw it, and he saw what would happen with the fall of man, how we would get so entangled with sin and destruction and just hurting ourselves so that we're acting less than human. We were always meant to be like God, because in the book of Genesis it says, "Let us make man in our image to be like us." So we were always meant to be like God. But then with the fall of man, when men sinned and sin entered into our DNA, we just kind of drifted completely away from what our true blueprint was, our true design. And God loved his creation so much that he couldn't just let us be born into this and just replicate this state as the generations went on, but instead he made a way for us to be reconciled to him, and also reconciled to what our original blueprint was, so that we could be like God in his attributes and be whole and be healed and be healthy in every way. So he sent his only begotten Son. And if you look in the scriptures, there are multiple pictures of the Father's love. When you're looking at the story of the prodigal son, and the Father fell on the Son, he just loved the Son so much that he fell on him to greet him. He went out to meet him. And then another picture is in the upper room in the book of Acts, where the Holy Spirit fell upon the apostles. And that word is, it's a word that denotes God's love for us. And so when we ourselves, we're seated with Christ. So when we ourselves are interacting with, or we're thinking about people in our day-to-day life, whether they're believers or unbelievers, and how can we ever even look at their faults? How can we even think about them with a lens of offense or bitterness or disappointment, when you realize the vulnerability of humanity, the places, every weak place in a man, the enemy just comes right in to try to take advantage of that person and the situation. And so this is the state that the whole world was in from the beginning, from the first man who fell. And when you're looking at that, and then you're realizing that a perfect, loving, just a perfect, righteous God looked at man and still could love, and not only love, but send his only Son, the number one treasure he had, to lay down his life for us so that we could be redeemed and not have to live under the power of sin and death any longer. It's just an amazing, amazing picture of the potential that we also have to love others. And we can, with the Holy Spirit's power inside us. We don't have to have that old lens anymore. We are not obligated to it. Christ has made us free from the law of sin and death, and he has put us into a different kingdom, which is according to Jesus Christ and his love. So we can love others, not of our own power, but with the regeneration of being born again of his Spirit and having the Spirit of the Father inside of us. We are able to love others and see others through that lens. So there is so much that God has done for us, but just meditating on the fact that God so loved the world. It was a broken world, every single one of us, broken from the very beginning. But him seeing our weak state, seeing us as treasures that he wanted to hold forever, and just to lay down what was the most important thing he could lay down to redeem us. And so now we have the calling to keep our desire for him, to have a response to that, to his love, to receive it so it'll overflow to others, so that we can see others in that same lens, the lens of love and mercy and compassion, knowing that every single one of us is subject to the ravages of the lies of the enemy. I hope that you will use your power and authority that Christ has given you to take authority over thoughts that are negative about other people when you meditate on how God so loved the world that he gave us his only begotten Son, because not one person was in a better place than another person when God did this. It was a leveled playing field, whether you were rich or poor, no matter what your culture or no matter how what you would do in life. It was a level playing field because all fell short of the glory of God, because we were born into it. This was our spiritual DNA through Adam that we were born into. But then Jesus was the new Adam who came so that we could inherit and appropriate his spiritual DNA into us and have a new life in him, being crucified with him, being buried with him, resurrected with him. This is the Christian life.